Cheer, cheer. Check 1, 2. What up, what up, what up, what up? It's Tuesday. You know what that means. It's Tim's Tuesday. Let's get it going. Welcome in, welcome in. Time for another episode of Tim's Tuesday. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? What up, gorgeous goddess? Let the people start to roll in. Got a very, very special episode lined up for you guys. A very special guest. Hey, baby. How's the sounds? Let me know how the sounds are. You know, we gotta take a few minutes to get the sounds right. You know. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a good start to their week. Welcome in, friends. Welcome, welcome. Let's go. Welcome in, welcome in. It's Tim's Tuesday. I got a special guest, man. So far I've been having all types of guests, right? We had a DJ. Shout out to DJ Big Lou. We had a director. We had a makeup artist. Shout out to Janine. Shout out to Mark L. We had a personality. Shout out to Crystal. We had a lot of special guests roll through here. We had a psychic medium in here. We had a dope grow host. Shout out to Awakening Faith, our in-house psychic medium. Shout out to Baller. This is episode 8. You know what I mean? And so far we've been just leveling up. Each time we're growing. The page is growing. So you know the guests get better and better. The vibes get better and better. What up, Joker? What's good, brother? Shout out to Joker. We had a great epic battle the other day. It's all love. Shout out to Broski. But yeah, as we've been growing this thing out, I've been blessed to be able to keep bringing in great guests, having great interviews. So I want to just say thanks for all the support so far that we've been getting and continuing to grow this thing. I do have a goal up top. So, you know, I actually think I forgot to, let me see. We got our goals posted. Yeah. Are we missing our, yeah, where's my, okay, we got a goal too. All right, there it is. We have our subscription goal. Shout out to the subscribers. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for the love and support. I appreciate it. So very special guest today, man. You know, for me, I have very few people that I look up to, mainly because I just feel like I've been doing this life thing and learning as I go. But in real life, I've met a few great people, and some of those people I look up to. And this person that I'm going to be bringing up today, I consider a big homie. I consider him somebody that I look up to in very in a lot of different ways. You know, we share a lot of similar titles. Parents, right? We're both dads. Fashionistas. We both like fashion. We have a thing for fashion, especially men's fashion, and the way that we present ourselves is very important to us. So that's something that I admire about this gentleman. So I'm going to be bringing him up. You know, I'm just letting the people get in here. But let's get right into it. I don't want to waste too much time talking too much. I'd rather talk to the brother. So let me get him in here. Here it is. Mr. R. Ortiz. What up, broski?
What's up? Appreciate those kind words too, by the way, man.
What's that?
I said I appreciate those kind words, man.
Nah, you know, it's funny because sometimes I know people, so far, some of the people that I met, I only know them for a few months through TikTok, you know? Like, I don't know them as I've grown. I've seen them grow and have like a personal relationship with some of the people. So I'm kind of like in a way, you know, we get to see our role models like in person. And for me, you're one of those people for me. You know what I'm saying? And I probably, and that's why earlier when we spoke briefly, I was like, I'm gonna tell you when we go live. I'll tell you when we go live. I'll save it for the live, because it's more genuine that way. And you know, I guess I'm gonna talk a little bit for a minute just because I want to be able to, you know, on Drink Champs, they give you the flowers and the roses and all of that. So I kind of want to take a minute before we really get into the interview and really chop it up. Growing up, so to explain our relationship or like how I met you, my best friend is your brother-in-law. So for me, it's kind of like the big homie. Like, damn, we always wanted to be like you. You know what I'm saying? Like that was something for us. And now being a parent and seeing how you parent and seeing how you've been doing it, your husband, like all these titles that you have, and I feel like you do them as a role model. Like you live up to what a role model and what a big homie's supposed to be. Like you don't just live it, you actually live it with a purpose. So that's something that I kind of wanted to, you know, say to you, man to man, sort of like, you know, we kind of been around each other before and we've had moments where we hung out or whatever, but it's different when you take the time to really have a moment to say it. So I just wanted to, you know, say that.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
Appreciate you.
it.
So yeah, let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Shit. Kid from the Bronx, man. Well, I ain't no kid no more. I'm 41 years old. You
But
know,
that kid from the Bronx is always in there. What up? Always in there, right?
kid from the Bronx never leave, man. No matter how long. I've been living out in Jersey for shit, almost 20 years, reaching it close. But yeah, nah. Born and raised in the Bronx, New York. Um, lived there my whole life. Moved to Jersey mid 20s. Kids working, hustling. That's just me. Small. Then we could deep dive into whatever you want.
Yeah. That's the foundation of it all. I mean, I know for a fact one of my like first memories of meeting you, and I had already heard about you in a sense from the homies and like, yo, you know, Manny's sister dating blah blah, like cool dude, like from the Bronx, like whatever. So I already kind of like heard about you, but I remember, which you can't really. I don't think anybody could meet you and not see the fashion, like the drip, like for
Oh,
me, and you know how it is when you're young. I probably met you when I was like 16, 17, somewhere around there. Um, and then, or maybe it was a little bit later. I don't even know. Cause I just remember seeing like you with your peoples, like y'all was chilling and we was at, I think it was like a basement party or something like that. And, I was just like, damn, okay, I see it now. Like the drip. So I see still, obviously, and I know the content that you've put out is very rooted in men's fashion. So I kind of want to start there, because that's the first memory that I have of you. What inspired your fashion?
I would say, I mean, I've always been into fashion ever since I was a little kid. Like I used to, kindergarten, first grade, fifth grade, third grade. I used to wear slacks, dress shirts, and shoes to school. And I
Real,
went,
yo, that's crazy. My mom was just showing my girl a picture when I was 5 or 6 years old, and I had on like not a guayabera. It was like a button up, short sleeve button up, and everybody had on regular clothes. Like I used to cry because when I went to like in kindergarten, it wasn't what do you call it? We didn't have to wear uniforms, right? So, but I was on something like I want to wear a dress shirt, I want to wear like dress pants and shoes, like when I went to kindergarten.
I'm Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? So my father is
See, okay,
influence,
yep,
and that's how they dressed back then in the 70s and 80s. They dressed with dress pants and shoes. My father didn't have that many sneakers. Again, growing up as a kid, I remember he had a shoe collection, right? He had suits. So
yeah,
to this day, this man gets dressed up if he's going to a barbecue. He's going, you know, shoes or slacks. That's just him. So I think that, of course, your father's always your first, influence as a man growing up. That's if he's a good father and around. Even if he's
right,
a father, he's gonna still influence you regardless. But that's how I was as a kid. I was very into, like you said before, how I looked.
yeah,
So I was into dress shoes and dress shirts and pants until I got to, you guys call it middle school. We call it junior high school, middle school, junior high school, whatever it is. Until I got there, that's when I first started wearing sneakers and jeans and switching it up. But um, that was my introduction to fashion, I guess, when I look back at it. And
So I mean, for you though, you're living in the Bronx, like you're living in New York. Like a lot of fashion up here is based on stuff that is sparked in New York, right? Like so, you were around all of that.
facts. Again, I've said this before. Um, the drug dealers influenced me, the dope boys, the guys in the corner too, right? So I had my dad with the way he dressed, the way he carried himself, but then I also had the guys that were much younger than him in the corner. I had older cousins who were out there hustling. So, I did grow up in the projects, and sweatsuits, New Balances, Jordans, just that style I picked up from the dope boys. The dope boys were always fresh. That was
Yeah,
something they took pride on. That was them like stunting on you, showing you how much money they got.
yeah.
They were running out there making sure they had the newest sneakers and the Flyers get champion sweatsuits. I know people rocking them now, but they don't know that's we talking about the '90s. That's when
That's when the shirts had the little patch on the corner. You remember the tees had the little champion patch in
the
the
little
corner right there, like
yeah, and it was all of them. Most of them were stitched. It was just that was just the era, and that influenced me. Hip hop, right? Of course, growing up in the Bronx, hip hop was always a huge influence. Also, so that's where I got my fashion style from. But like you said, New York is different. I used to go down to Soho before Soho was popping. Right, I was always over there with my boys when I was in high school. We used to take the train down there and go shop there. Go shop in the Diesel and Money Exchange, French Connection, just going up and down that strip that now everybody knows about it. But at that time, where I'm from, we weren't going down to Soho. That was just a different style. Rocking Banana Republic, Abercrombie and Finch. Those are names that people know now, but we talking about again
yeah, that wasn't recognized in the hood like
we
those
wasn't,
brands.
so that also you mixing that together, and that's kind of how I move. That's how I look at fashion. I could do it a corporate. I could do it casual. I could do it, urban if you want to call it.
Yeah. So were you doing like back then? I know you've had over the years, like you've done a lot of like one of ones and like custom stuff, and you kind of have your own twist or flair that you put on stuff. Were you already doing that back then?
Um, to be honest with you, the first person who brought that to my attention was my brother. You know, um, I was just always wearing something different. Like I'll be honest, I to this day I rock women's clothing. Right, you'll catch me go cop something from the women's section, but that was something I always did. I used to grab my mom's pants and her jackets, my sister too, right, and go rock them in the club because I was trying to be different and make sure that I wasn't looking the same like everybody, right? I'm not
Yeah,
gonna go find that. That's when those silhouettes, again, women's clothing is much tighter, much slimmer. Now you have that for men. You go to
yeah.
all these other. That's how clothes is made. But before it wasn't like that. You couldn't.
So when you was wearing it, it just looked like it was tailored, like it looked like almost
Yeah,
like a
tailored, jacket or tailored shirt or some pants. Like you made that. Nah, they was just from the women's section. Or I would go, and I still do that too. We had like 99-cent stores in the Bronx. They like Bargain Man and I don't know whatever, like Dollar Tree. And I would go into stores like that and go cop a button down in there. Ain't nobody shopping in there to go get fly, but
hmm
I would go there and go get fly. So that's how my fashion was. And then my little brother designed on a pair of Tims. And then one day we did that. We made a shirt together, a button down. We took a button down, house paint, and we designed a shirt. And I went out to the club because I was out and about. So I rocked in the club, and of course the reaction I got was good.
it
It
was
was more
crazy.
crazy. So
Yeah,
you know, why not? And that's when we started doing. Um, that's when Charlie O first started before we went. did it with the factories and did it a little bit more legitimate. We were
So
putting
so actually, since you mentioned Charlie O, that's so when I first
That's around the time you guys I first met you is when we
yeah. So I was about to say that. So when I first met you, that was kind of like the thing that was going on. Like a lot of the homies, like we all started with like, yo, Charlie O's it. Like we, and for us, it was like we like what everything that you're explaining. That's how we were in our like in our high school and like all of that. Like we was doing that. So like me and Manny, I remember we took somebody else wore it first, but they wore like a something that they bought like in a store, like when the bleach jeans kind of like was popping. And we ain't have the money to just go out and buy shit. So we just had to kind of like make do. Like, yo, how you think they made that? Like, so we was trying to figure it out. So I remember in my basement taking a pair of jeans, throwing it on the floor in the basement. We dipped like the bottom parts of the shit into the bleach. We let that shit air dry, and then we took Tim's and was like painting the bottom of the Tim's with bleach, and then we kind of put it on the jeans so that it had the imprint of the Tim's on it. And then the next day we washed them, whatever, and then we wore them with Tim's. Like that was like okay, oh shit, like so then we started playing around with different things with bleach and all of that. Like so we were doing that in high school, and in high school this was like when the long tees was cool. I remember going to New York and buying a big ass pack of white tees, and I was selling them shits out of my locker. Like every morning, people would just come, yo, let me get a fresh tee, and I was selling white tees out of my locker. Like nobody else in my clique was doing that. Like, so I feel like that's like the hustler spirit. You know what I'm saying?
that's always I mean, that's definitely the hustler spirit. And then again, that's I'm from the hood too, so I ain't have it. My parents ain't have it, so I had to make do. And
Yeah,
then did have a job. I was still going to school, so you really wasn't making no real money.
yeah,
So I was trying to get the sneakers first, because that was it. That's how I start my fits. From the feet down, Kickstarter.
yeah. I was
So
about to say the Kickstarter.
the Kickstarter. So that was my thing. I had to make sure I had to have that bread to go cop them sneakers, and I figured the rest out. If I had to, I would make something. And that's why we started doing that, because one, everything was the same, right? You went out and everybody had the same thing on. That's it's either it was Coogee or Mesquite or Jean Global, Green Global. I forget the joint. The joints with all the nines on them, or it could be
Yeah,
upside down. Everybody had that. Iceberg. You would go out and that's what you would see. So it was like, you know what I mean? The Nietzsche, academics. Again, a lot of people don't know about those brands, but that's what was popping in the '90s and in the 2000s.
yeah. That was definitely an early 2000s for sure. That shit was popping.
That was two.
So so some of the one of the things like whenever I interview somebody, especially somebody that I've had real interactions with, there's certain things that start to come to mind of like that kind of tells me about the person's mindset, right? So I'm looking in the background right now and all your kicks and all that. We're talking about fashion, and I know you have an eye for high fashion as well. But something that you said to me one time, or maybe you just said it in the group, I don't know, but I felt like it resonated really like deep with me. Was you was like I don't cop the hype shit or something along those lines. I cop what I like to wear. Like it was like you don't, and you always had like some. I don't say weird, but like sometimes you would have some shit. I'm like, where'd you get those? And you're like, these might. One of them I think might have been like some shit that were like, what's that called? Like a sample pair or some shit. Like I was like, what? Like they were just different all the time. Like it was just something different.
Because again, to me, I take fashion very serious, right? I think is your identity. So if you out there looking like everybody else, you really don't have no identity.
Yeah,
So I can't do that. And plus, I'm trying to be fly. I'm trying to stun on everybody that's in there. Right? That's just what I'm doing. That's just playing. If I'm going somewhere and we getting fly, I'm trying to get super duper fly. So I definitely don't buy the hypebeast. I got it. I can show you some hype. I have a
yeah.
lot of it. It's not because it's hype. It's because I like it. I got sneakers that cost $20.
Yeah, and I think I actually appreciate more like when I seen you put together outfits that were you kind of like, yo, why would you wear that? And then the way you put it together, that was like, like I see what you did. You know what I'm saying? Like those type of outfits that You and I think there's another thing that you said before, like you kind of said it now about like your fashion being your identity. But more so it's an expression like an art, and that's how you see it. Like you see it like it's an art form, and I see it the same way. So talk about how fashion could be used in an art form.
I definitely look at fashion as art because it's not just again throwing an outfit together because anybody could do that, right? You can
Right,
match. Matching is easy, right? Just matching the colors. I look at it down to the silhouette, right? So again, it's definitely art on how it lays down, how it's cut, fits you, how you want to look and feel that day. That's why you can see it going on in fashion now that the silhouette is changing. You went from everybody you still wearing, fitted jeans, but now you got the they belt bottoms, right? But they call them wide leg.
the flare, right? Like they got the
Right?
flare on them.
That's bad. I got a pair of flare ones on right now, but it's bell bottoms.
Right,
Now you have that. Before it was like you couldn't if you get caught wearing some pants like that, it was over with, right?
right,
But again, that's for me, that's art. You're creating something down to again the silhouette, how you could just look at it and see how it flows, right? I don't know if I'm describing it right, but that's how I look at fashion. That's why my eye is different. I could look at something and say, we could put this and this and this and this together, and it's gonna look good because I see it. Like if you look at a painting, right? You look. Some people it looks like just splatter around. To me, I could see the art in it, and that's how I definitely look at fashion like that. Not everybody could, but I do. I look at it like that. Again, down from the color to the silhouette, even how it could flow. Right? Everybody likes to do the matchy matchy stuff. Again, that's easy, but one color matches with another color. Most people won't do that, right? They'll just do blue with blue. They're not gonna do it blue with this green and then with this yellow, and then mix it up like this, and it all flows, but it's not matchy matchy, right?
right.
It goes with each other. So you
Yeah,
know,
I've seen a lot of what you do, and I feel like when I see it I'm inspired because I see it that way. So I've also seen, and I don't know if you can relate to this, like I've seen some people that I look at it, and it's not to judge them, but the eye that I have and like the way that I would put certain things together, I'll see somebody and I'll be like, damn, like they were like almost like you could see where they were trying to go, and then they just like didn't get there, like they didn't fully succeed of what they was trying to do with that outfit.
I five them like I see what you was trying to do.
I see where you was going, but so my thing is like I personally and I'm kind of going towards like me personally. I think to myself like, damn, I wish I could help them out or like style them. In your case, you actually style people. Like, what's the stylist like? What is that? What does that consist of? Like, what is that like?
I've been doing that for a long time. I mean, again, when I had the brand and we was pushing it, I was styling guys, right? I was styling you in my clothing, but I didn't consider it. But it's hard for someone to reach out and say, "Hey, I need help." Especially a man to reach out to another man and say,
Facts.
"I need some help getting dressed." But you know, when I style somebody, I I, I give them a little bit of me, but I keep them right. That's why I have to get to know you, have a conversation with you before I start dressing, right? Or I go shopping for you. I got to see where your comfort level is at, and then try to, you know, get you
Push the
outside
boundaries.
a little bit. Because again, not everybody could wear everything.
Facts.
Then you got to definitely understand and know yourself. Just because that's something trendy doesn't mean you could do it.
Right.
So you got to be able to feel confident in your clothes. That's another thing, right? You could put any outfit together you want. It could be Gucci'd out, but if your confidence is down, you could tell that outfit does not look fly. That's why you could wear something that costs $20, or you could wear something that wears $20,000. It doesn't matter. It's just how confident you in. And that's one thing I try to do for my clients when I do style them is boost their confidence. I want them to look at themselves in the mirror and be like, man, I want to go out. Let's go. Where we going? They want to go show the fit off. Um, and you know that's again that's not everybody could do it. Not everybody could paint the picture, right? So you know that's just my way of doing it. I know some stylists that just go bring a rack of high end clothes and put guys in, you know, what's trendy and that's it. Um, I try to stay away from all that, right? I'm not. Don't get me wrong. We go shopping in Bergdorf Goodman and do some high end stuff, but at the same time, I'm taking them to Zara, Forever, H&M, Walmart, Old Navy. We going there too to get some fly because you know these people are style have you know they're in the entertainment business, so they gotta look fly. But at the same time, I tell them I go guarantee you we here in Bergdorf or in Louis and Gucci, you're gonna see two, three, four, maybe five other dudes when you out and
Yep.
about doing what you're doing with
Same.
the same thing on, and how fly you gonna feel and look at this price tag, right? So we go somewhere else. Yeah, and I'm a advocate of well me, I don't wear things more than once. So I try to tell depending on who my client is, make it a point that you don't wear things more than once because you got an image to uphold. So that's why we ain't gonna go drop the bag on this. You know, you're gonna go spend a couple dollars doing this. So you it's easier for you not to
So
wear.
when you're talking now, you kind of put that like into perspective of like, all right, we got to be mindful of what we're wearing, right? Like we got to be mindful that somebody might see us in this, and then you're putting on like
Yeah,
you create in styling somebody. You're also mindful of their image, like you're mindful of the character or like the person, the persona that they're portraying as well, right? Like how do you incorporate that?
I mean again that it just all depends on how you approaching it. Just like any job, right? Some people are better at 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 you know doing things than others because that's just what it is. And you know my approach is different. Again, I'm trying to get to know you, trying to make sure that I again keep you in your box, but kind of break you out of it because there's a reason why I'm
You
here,
bring you in. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
There's a reason why you got a stylist. You got a stylist because it's about your image. Don't get it twisted. We getting fly. It is for yourself. Always do it first. But you going outside, people gonna see
Facts.
it. Like yeah, okay, I see what you're doing. So you know that's an image you're trying to hold and show the people. You, you got. I hear.
Oh, I think it's did you get a call?
Yeah, nah. Yeah, that's what it was.
Did it go away?
Hold up. Nah, still here.
Um, hold up. So just I'm gonna drop you off and then just come back on. I'm gonna do the same thing like
Yep.
the way we did it before. Wait, hold up. This way right here. Hold up. All right. Yeah, TikTok has like a weird thing like when you get a call like interrupts and then when it comes back on the audio kind of like
Yeah, it was echoing.
lags or whatever.
Hearing you talk after the fact and hearing myself, that's crazy.
It's mad annoying.
Yeah,
All right, so there's actually uh uh I've seen you used to have a series, right? That you did on YouTube that was called
fashion
Fashion
port.
Port, right? So Fashion Port, you had some really dope like episodes and you did like some very practical, I feel like things that you did in there to show kind of somebody that's just getting into fashion or just wants to be more mindful of their closet, let's just say, let's put it like that, like mindful of your closet. And there was something that stood out to me because I think about myself like when I go shopping, there's a few things that I always keep in my closet and those few pieces are always fresh. Like even like once I start to see it like this is like a what you call the staple piece, like you called it
Mm-hmm.
a staple piece. So you have, I think in the one of the episodes you did like a 10. So I kind of wanted to see if you would do like five staple pieces from men's fashion for anybody who's in here that if they was just trying to get this shit right, and it's like, yo, what if maybe five, or if you want to go to 10, it's up to you. But like, if you could kind of navigate and kind of send people in that direction, which way, like, what are the five to 10, or what comes to mind for staple pieces?
I hit you with that, but I'll tell you how that fashion port came about. That came because of the pandemic, right?
Oh, oh, wait. So all of that started because of the
That started
pandemic.
that started because of the pandemic. My son is a big. He's been YouTubing since he's 8. Right, that's his
Okay.
thing.
How old is he now?
He'll be 16 in 2 weeks.
Oh, he been 8 years in.
Not
Like,
he's 8 years in. Light shut over is all good. He's 8 years in. He's been, you know, in theater camp, acting academies, and doing all that. That's just what he's in. So the pandemic hit, and he's been telling me, Dad, you should do a YouTube page about fashion.
mm,
I don't have no time for that. But pandemic sat us all down, and we were bored in the house. What else can I do with my time?
word.
I cleaned out my Instagram and started all over. So that was all like a plan. Um, and then Fashion Port came. We did the first episode and put it out there. It was good. We had great response, and I kept going. It was something fun. Definitely wanted to teach some people how to get fly, and also, again, educate the people on do's and don'ts about fashion. We spoke about staple pieces. We spoke about skincare, um, and I would also bring about educating my guys on wine, right?
I was about to ask about that too. Like, that was like a cool little piece that you added in that was like
Yeah,
elevating
that
taste too.
that's again, it definitely tastes. That's a great word you use. It's stepping your taste level up and educating yourself. And I work in corporate America, man. There's certain things that I don't want to say impress, but people pay attention, and drinking wine and understanding and knowing and having knowledge and ordering a nice bottle of wine and everybody enjoying it when someone drinks wine can go, okay, you know what you're doing. It's a bit impressive when you around people. So, that was me just giving people some game, and again, being fly. I think just drinking wine is a something fly. Getting, putting your Sunday best on, and popping a nice bottle and kicking back. I think of sunflower. So that was, excuse me, that was something I wanted to incorporate because that's part of my lifestyle. So that's another thing. Everything I do, and everything I bring to anybody, any platform I put it on, is definitely me, 1000%. If you see me doing it, if you see me involved in it, pushing it, it's because I use the product. I believe in it. I'm not getting $1 for it. It's because
Yeah, you true. And I feel like that's the way you kind of presented it too. Is like, what I'm sharing with y'all is just my lifestyle. Like, it's not necessarily me trying to create a trend or something like that. Like, this is me. Like, this is the lifestyle that I live, and I'm just sharing it because some people find it, interesting, or inspired by it.
it's just educating the people, man. Knowledge is king, and it doesn't matter in what you're learning. You know, Knowing new things and figuring things out like that is important and is good. It allows you to navigate through this crazy life that we live. So that's just what I wanted to do. And again, my son, he produced it all, right? He would edit everything. All I did was stand in front of the camera and come up with these ideas and topics. We used to brainstorm. I would get in front of the camera, film it, and then he would chop it up and make me look
Who
good.
came up with the name? Was that you or him?
That was him. Everything
Yeah.
was name, everything. Everything was my son. It was just he said this is what you should talk about. This is the route you should go, and I did it. And everything else was him. So it was more. We're not doing fashion port right now because we're doing a bunch of other things. That was just something during the pandemic. My son got busy. Now he's in high school. A lot more work, a lot more.
Leveling up.
Yeah, he's leveling up. So that was something that me and him got a chance to bond. and build together. So it was pretty cool. He's the plan is to have him now do it because again I'm old man. Nobody wants to see me up there talking about getting fly, but my son, yeah. So that's that's the plan. But we're working on a few other things, so that's kind of been on the back burner. But Fashion Port was just there to help educate people, give you a little fashion sense. Um,
I think it's dope though too how you and this is to like all the dads or parents that hear this or see this in the future is like you have you have a skill set and then your child might have a totally different skill set or different creativity level or want, but there's a way to kind of bridge the two, and that's what y'all did with that. Like you did the fashion stuff and he was like into the filming and like producing and all that, and y'all put the two things together, so like y'all created something, like you said, that's a bond that like regardless y'all could always go back and watch that, like, yo, we did this, like regardless if you don't even do it ever, another episode of it is there, like it exists
now,
forever.
it led to the things that we're doing, and I talk about that, but I'm gonna give you your five staple pieces.
Oh yeah, all right, yeah, yeah. I almost forgot about
I,
that.
I give you five. Um, One is definitely a motorcycle jacket, black leather motorcycle jacket.
Fire.
That was on my staple piece. Black motorcycle jackets fly, man. You could dress it up, you could dress it down, you could wear a hoodie, t-shirt, dress shirt. It's just, definitely could make an outfit look, could elevate your outfit, right?
Facts.
I would say a good scarf, right?
Mm.
Men don't wear scarves, but
I
um,
think if you got a call, I might have it again. Do you hear me twice?
yeah,
Yeah,
happen again,
it's
yeah.
cool. It happens all the time. All right, we're gonna do the same thing again. Hold up. TikTok got to work on that. We need a workaround. We need to fix to that situation. Tech support, if you're hearing this, get with us. Let's get this fixed. If you just tuning in, we connecting with my broski. We talking about men's fashion. We talking about all types of things of that nature. So he's sharing with us right now five staple pieces that every man should have. Started off with the black biker jacket, black leather, and the scarf was the last one where we left
Yeah,
off.
get yourself a nice fly scarf because again, that would definitely elevate your outfit. Um, I had it on there too. I would say a trench coat, right? Again, a
That's a
trench.
must.
You could dress it up. You could dress it down. We talking about like a beige trench coat, raincoat, typical basic raincoat. That's always a staple piece to have. Um, Nowadays, of course, it's become trendy, but I would say a bag. Um, don't be carrying no wallet in your pocket and your keys in there and your cell phone. That's too much.
Trying to shove everything in the pockets.
And get yourself a nice little man bag. Something fly though, no crossbody, some leather, something nice, man. That you could,
Something with texture, something with some you know what
yeah,
I'm saying, some life to it.
one. Yeah, just one. And then I would say some nice glasses, either some shades or some regular, uh, fake glasses. Look, I got glasses on. I don't need them, man. They always only for fashion. Accessories, man. It elevates things. It makes things look a little different. That's why. So I would say instead of glasses, some dope shades. So
Yeah. So I'm big on accessories too. Like I've realized that over the years, like I have a pretty wide variety of different accessories and things that I match up and things like that. And like I feel like for me that's one of my staples. And I have like when it comes to jewelry, I have a set of like all silver or whatever, white gold, and then I have the gold, and just having the variety and being able to switch it up.
I forgot one. Definitely get yourself a nice watch. Right?
That's yeah, big
You
time.
gotta have a nice watch if we're grown men. That's
and
definitely
and, and I remember actually you said a nice in that episode you said a nice watch. I didn't say an expensive watch.
correct.
I
You don't have,
like that you added that.
it has to look nice, right? There's there's brands out there that you can spend 200, 300 on a watch. There's brands you can spend 100 on a watch, right? But then there's also brands that you can spend 100 grand on the watch.
Right. Facts.
It doesn't matter the price as long as it's nice. Brown leather band. All a stainless steel watch. Those are always nice. Movados, those watches are not that expensive, but they still rock. I don't care what you say.
Classic. That's a classic.
It's a classic watch. But again, nice watch, something nice on your wrist. It doesn't have to be working, but at least make it look.
Just hope nobody asks you for the time.
Yeah, yeah. No one, listen, my watches never have the right time on them.
Yeah. So I think I learned too that especially with people when we talking about watches specifically, I used to like love collecting watches. Like I was a big on having at one point I think there was like I had two watch boxes, like 25 watches at one point. And then I got an Apple Watch and I was like, yo, I could just get 30 bands and I don't gotta worry about that too much. But I did realize that the first time I wore my Apple Watch and it was time to go out, like out. Like I think we were going to like a wedding or some shit. I'm like, I cannot wear this. This don't go with this. And I got a PSA for y'all. Like, don't be wearing the Apple Watch with a suit. Like that doesn't go together. No matter what band you have on, it doesn't go. Get yourself an Invicta. Get yourself something to throw on that looks good with a suit because the Apple Watch is not it. Like wedding photos do not look dope with an Apple Watch on. Like I love my Apple Watch, but that's not the vibe for those photos. Like I promise you, you'll thank me later for that tip. Like, go write it down and don't forget that one because I'm tired of seeing it.
It's the truth, man. Again, that's fashion, right? That's an accessory. You could have a nice suit on a wedding, tux, but you got Apple Watch on your wrist.
Yeah, nah, we ain't doing that.
Look,
Get
look
yourself a, like he said, it doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be nice.
and
Get
if you
your,
spend money
it's a
on
lot.
a watch, make sure the right one, because some watches are investments. So
That's true too. Like I mean, if you're gonna put the money up, make it do your homework. Make sure you know what you get and don't be getting got. That's it.
no hype beat, please.
They yeah, there you go.
Watches too, don't ice them out. We talking about plain Jane, nice.
Yeah, something that you could wear like on the street, and you could wear it in the boardroom, and you could wear it, you know what I'm saying? Like you could move around with it, and it's something that is timeless. And we talking about watches, but it's timeless in the sense that you could have it forever. You might want to even pass it down if you got kids. Like actually, for my graduation, one of my watches that I have is actually a graduation gift that my dad handed down to me. And I was like, yo, for years, like growing up, like as I started collecting watches, I was like, that watch right there, like I want that one. Like I wanted it so bad. And when I graduated high school, he gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? Like that was dope. Like, and it was actually a an Esquire, which is like a part of like Movado or whatever. So like that shit it meant a lot to me. You know what I mean? So I'm very big on watches, especially watches going like when you're wearing a watch to an interview or something like that. Like that's somebody sees that on your wrist, like somebody who really knows what's up, they know that you take your time and you're very punctual or like you're very serious about your time too. So
Listen, you ain't gonna go to a restaurant and eat there if it's dirty, right? And it looks crazy.
right,
Come on, if you looking crazy and suspect, people go
facts.
different. So what I mean, present yourself well, and then you'll see a different reaction. So again, not everybody got to be fly. You just got to be clean and neat, and make sure that you dress accordingly. That was another thing I spoke about in fashion port. Understanding what you could wear and what you can't wear. Not everybody could wear everything, and sometimes some of you guys be looking crazy out there trying to wear something that you're not supposed to, and it's just
So what do you think about like where would your stance be on somebody who's like, yo, I've been stuck like in the sense of like their style and they're trying to switch it up. Like what is the like one thing that you would tell somebody, especially like if you're styling somebody and let's say you already know them, what would be the first like where do you start? Like where do you gauge like of level of importance certain parts of like men's fashion?
again, I got to get to know you. I look at your closet. We definitely we go shopping, right? Because again, I want to see what you pick. What I pick, see your reaction, see what you do till you try it on. That's just how I again, it's hard, um, because a lot of people make the mistake because if I get fly, doesn't mean I could trust this person, right?
Right.
Again, I can't.
So it's definitely like a whole experience. Like it's not just like you said. I know I understood like you got to know him, but like that's like what you just said there. Like you actually pick things out to see their reaction. You see what they pick out. Like you're there's like a little bit of. I mean, it sounds like a lot actually a science to it. Like
I,
what you're doing, there's
I'm,
a science to it.
that's just how I am. I'm a mad scientist with everything I do. It has to be, you know, that deep for me to be able to do it because that's how you do it at that high level. That's
Yeah.
just
And I don't mean to cut you off, but somebody in the comment, Sharjay said she likes the hoodie, and I kind of like it keeps I keep looking like when I'm looking at the camera, I'm actually looking at the hoodie and I see it says Lafayette and Noble. So I right, is that what it says? Lafayette and Noble?
oh yeah.
Okay. So I see it and I'm like, damn, I'm gonna ask about that because it stands out. So I don't know if this is a one of one or like is this a what
This
is it? Talk to me about it.
this is a one on one. These are things. This is something that's gonna be for sale. I made three of them because Lafayette and Noble is a documentary my son is doing.
Oh, fire.
Yeah, which is based off of my life growing up in the Bronx. So what we've done is, again, he goes to a film academy in Jersey out here, and that's part of his film class. That's a project he has to do, which we're entering into the film festivals as well.
Dope.
He decided to do a documentary, and this is something that we've spoke about in the past, and then he had the opportunity to do it. So, I took him to the Bronx. We went, drove around my elementary school, my high school, the building I was born in. He interviewed my parents. He interviewed my siblings. Um, I was interviewed. He had some questions. Uh,
Well, I like the bonding experiences that you guys have, and the fact that you're clearly his role model because he sees the art and the work that you have and how you've created things, and he wants to capture it. That's really dope.
yeah, for him, I mean, one thing I instill in both of my children is that, hard work pays off.
Mm.
I'm always going to push their talent, and always allow them to do what they want to do, right? Again, my parents were young when they had me, and again, they were still trying to figure things out for themselves. So, I didn't have that. Not to say that I had a bad life. I just didn't had that support because again, they wasn't too sure what they wanted to do with their life. Um, I made it a point to not do that. There's been a lot of people I've had conversations with, and they've told this is what I really wanted to do, but I went to my parents and they was like, no, you need to go get a regular job and be safe. That's you could catch a L over there. You don't know how much money you can make, and it discourages them from possibly being something great or doing something that they love. And I've had bullshit jobs and hated working places and had to sacrifice and put in the hours and grind and do all that, and it's not what I wanted to do. Even my profession that I'm in now, I fell into it. All right, that's not what I wanted to do. I work in finance. I've been doing that for like over 20 years. So
Wow.
that's crazy, but that's
Yeah.
that's not what I wanted to do. I mean, I've learned a lot and it helped out in my life, my personal life, knowing all that, but that's not what I wanted to do. Um, I made it a point that when my kids show an interest in something, I show it too. I invest in them. They're the future. So doing these things with my son is something that he loves to do. And if he's going to do it right, why not? So it's definitely a bonding experience. And again, I'm building something with him. That's my business partner. Fashion Part was our first um, joint business move, and then we decided to go do this. And Lafayette and Noble is a brand that we building, so these things will be for sale pretty soon. I'll do one on one, so these custom ones, if you want one, let me know. Um,
Yeah.
but these are all handmade, right? If you look at it, it's cut certain way. hand paint them. This is all done with a machine called a Dremel, so it's all done by hand. Do them right here in the studio that I got here. But yeah, Lafayette and Noble but yeah, Lafayette and Noble is the
So
brand.
it's already evolved. It went from the being the name of the documentary to now it's the official, like it's a
That was the
clothing brand now.
that was the plan. Once the documentary was dropping, we was dropping merch and building a brand around it. So we was like, the documentary will bring some awareness to the name, and something cool to do. Because again, I've done this branding stuff. I've done this clothing line, multiple times. And even after Charlie O, I've had some brands that I've done, but no one knew I was doing them. I just did them, put them out, and just seen the reaction. Um, and now, with my son, why not? He's seen what I did with Charlie O. I've learned from the mistakes. I know what to do, what not to do, and he's willing to listen and learn too. And again, I trust him. We trust each other. He does the video stuff and the editing and all that, and that creativity there. Of course, I help, but that's what he does. So I allow him to do that himself without
Yeah.
interfering so much. So, again, this is something he loves. This is what he wants to do. You ask him, he'll tell you, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So why not? Why not encourage him? I'm able to do that. And this is something cool. Again, we incorporating my life fashion. Starting another brand up with my son is exciting. Right, fashion for me and doing brands weren't exciting for a while. I was like over it. But this is becoming exciting for me. So we're definitely you're gonna
So
see these a lot more, but these are more custom. We're gonna have more simple ones without being ripped. Just a hoodie with the Lafayette and Noble on it.
when you were saying like that this is like sewn and things like that, like what did you are you self taught on all of that? Like you did all that just like through
Yeah, I mean,
over time?
this is I cut it so it looks different. It's cropped a certain kind of way as a regular hoodie. I got a sewing machine there that, again, the pandemic, I just said, let me start making masks. So I was making masks and stuff like that. So I get to mess around with this. And yeah, it was self taught. My little brother's another creative person, um, who showed me a lot of things. And again, he uh, he was the one who kind of started the brand and started painting on clothes and using these machines, and again, creating that, which opened up my mind and said, shit, I could do this too. Um, but yeah, this was all self taught, man. Just trying to figure it out. Looking at things and saying, how can I do that? How they could do this? And then, now I go into a store and I could touch a piece of fabric and it's hard for me to shop. I'm not paying you that kind of money. I know how.
Not for that.
Nah, I'm like, I know how,
Yeah,
and I go home and I make something. So, I've made my kids costumes for Halloween.
I've done that too.
You
I've
know,
done that.
I made them clothes one of one. I got bags of one on one stuff that I just made because I just feel like being creative and never wear. It's just when I'm in that mood, I do it. But yeah, this is definitely something that we're gonna be pushing. So you'll see it.
Y'all gonna need a showroom just to put stuff in a spot just for people to walk in and pick it
No,
off the shelf. Like
I gotta. Nowadays we don't need to do that. We got this right now. You see, you at your house, I'm at mine.
facts. Yep.
So, again, there's a lot of things I learned from doing a brand. And when we started Charlie O Clothing, believe it or not, clothing brands weren't out there like they are now, right? Everybody got a clothing line. You have much more access to a lot of things and information that we didn't have. It was all trial by error, learning things and figuring it out. With that brand, I was in the factory flipping shirts and seeing how everything works from that level. So, now you could do all that from your house. You don't gotta go to no factory and ship things nowhere. So
Do you feel like that has not necessarily ruined the game or like put stain on the game, but like does that take away? Because I see a lot of people do like, all right, we got this thing, let's put it on the shirt. Like even all right, so right now I'm wearing a sweatshirt that I went to the arts and crafts store. I got these letters that my company, my one of my businesses is Envision. So I wanted to put some on a sweater, but it was like too many letters. I'm like, what can I do this more simple? So I just did the 4 letters. Stands out. It's still Envision. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's something you could do now. Just kind of like this is like a 101. I'm not trying to sell it or not, so it's cool. But my thing like now I see people that had like everybody got a sweatshirt, everybody got a hoodie, everybody got a t-shirt, and everybody's using the same, either manufacturers or whatever. Like, do you feel like that kind of took away from the real fashion of it? I feel like I think so, but I don't know what your
Oh,
thoughts are.
I could go to the mall and make a shirt, right? I could literally go to a mall. You weren't able to do that.
Yeah.
Go to the mall and make a shirt. You had to figure it out.
And then
So
15 minutes later, just come back and pick it up on your way out the mall.
you, I could get a hat made, stitched and all that, whatever. One like your Yankee hat right now, and make it,
Yeah.
Lafayette and Noble in the mall, right? So you got that plus again, technology, the internet. It made things much easier for these guys. So it did water down fashion a lot. I mean, it killed it. And again, popularity also, right? You got these people who are just cool and people know them and they like them and they're gonna support whatever they put out. And they put some bullshit on a shirt and boom, they pop. I've
Yeah, and it's not really fashion. And they use the term merch. It's just merch now.
It's merged, but that's what I said. Anybody could go do this, right? But again, I could just give you the simple ones, which I will be giving you. But then I want to again give you some fashion, give you something fly, give you something different that no one is doing. So that's why we did this. Listen, all these brands, Art Gallery and all this, we was doing that a long time ago, man. We was painting on the shirts, ripping them up, doing that 20 years ago, and that's a fact. We got pictures. You talked about it. That was like 20 years ago, man. So,
Hmm.
they're not doing anything different right now in fashion. They're just putting out what guys like me was doing. You know, I,
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I personally still like mixing it up. Like I know that that's something you're big on too, is mixing, like buying something in one store, like one piece here and then another piece over there, and then mixing that, even if it's from Walmart, Target, wherever, mixing it with something that might be a little high fashion, and not keeping it like, again, anybody could go into a store and be like, let me get the whole thing off the mannequin, and now you go to another spot and everybody got the same outfit on. Like that's how you run into those situations. So I know we see eye to eye when it comes to that type of stuff. So I think that's something that more people should understand. Like, it's not all about what you spend on it. It's how you put it together, and taking the time to really use it as a form of expression, because it truly is a form of expression. Like, there's certain times that I'll be honest, like I'll pick a color or an outfit based on how I'm feeling. Like, I actually be like, yo, I'm not feeling like that today. But there's also times that I'm like, yo, I feel like down. I need to wear some shit that's gonna make me feel like, like I need to, like I'm stepping on over people for today. Like, and the fashion will allow me to express that. And then when I got on my best fit, I'm like, all right, I feel good. Like, I look in the mirror and I'm starting to feel a little bit better about myself. You know what I'm saying? My energy changes a little bit. All right, I'm ready to step out now. You know what I'm
that
saying?
that was the whole thing about Fashion Port, man. I wanted to bring that to everybody because again, I when I get fly, ain't nobody could stop me, right? I feel unstoppable. That's just the feeling I get, and
Which
that's
I did like the lingo that you used too. It's fashion port, like an airport, and then like we taking flight. Like, I like a lot of the lingo that was in there as well.
seatbelts. That was all my son.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
That
came
was
up
that was
with
fire.
seatbelts. Let's get fly. So, the fly boys and all that. That was all him, man. That kid is a genius. I tell everybody he's the hardest working person I know, and not just because he's my son. It's because I see it in him, and I
Well, I
see.
mean, he's learned it somewhere. He got inspiration. He knows somebody else that's working hard, and he just trying to live up to the legacy. So I
I got
respect it.
listen. Why not? As long as I got air in my lungs, right, and there's money out there, I'm gonna go get it.
Facts.
And in this fashion world, I've been in it long enough. I've been around people. You know, you name it, I've been around them. Right? They seen the brand, they seen the style, they they salute it, so I know what time it is. So now I just want to, make my imprint and step on their neck. Tell them
So
stop. I
and I
some
And
respect.
I feel like that same mindset though. You actually carry that into to almost every aspect of your life. Because I know you mentioned corporate America, so I know you said you've been doing that for 20 years, but that wasn't just you can't be in a specific industry for that long and not use like have that same mentality. So I'm assuming, and I know because I've seen you for years now, kind of do use that same mentality and even as a parent, like you're using that same mentality. Like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it to the best like that I have in my cells. Like you do it at a different level.
I don't see why you shouldn't, right? Listen, we was talking before. You have these people that every time they see you doing something different, they're like, what are you doing again? Really? Here we go again. Here this guy goes again doing something, right? But it's because they not happy because they want something to do and they're not doing it, right?
Right,
And here they are seeing you do it and they're like, oh, wow, okay. Shit, this is what he's doing. This is what he's able to do. This is what he's able to get, right? Why not do it to the best of your ability? If you
right.
do something, you just doing it to do it. Come on, man. It doesn't make sense. I gotta be, and that's just me. I gotta be the best in everything. Corporate America. Again, financing for 20 years. Listen, I'm good there. You know what I mean? Every company I work for, they know who I am. I make noise, and I make a hell of a lot of money doing that too. Don't get it
Yeah,
twisted.
see, I like that though. Like for me too. Like well, we talked about that specifically. That like sometimes I get the, damn, you doing that now, and I'm like, yeah. And the thing is, I think for people like us that have that mentality, certain things get boring fast too because you do it to the high level, and if it doesn't challenge you, now it's like I did it, I killed it, I'm over it now. Like and then people like look at you like, why you stopping? Like you doing good, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand like the mindset that I have to do it at that level for that long, and be at the top of it is kind of like I already did it. Like I want to go try something else. I want to try, you know what I mean? Find something that really makes me want to get out of bed and do this. Like really, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you have the ability to kind of continue to do other things and I feel like I'm in the same situation that I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to continue to try new things. I'm going to continue to, push the envelope and do all of these things whether or not somebody, co-signs it or is rocking with it. Like I'm going to do it regardless because it brings me some type of joy or it's something that I'm trying to learn about. Like I'm trying to learn new things or something like that like in trying it.
Closed mouths don't get fed, man.
Amen.
And there's one thing my father told me. He said, Ray, whatever you want in life, you could go get it. Your choices is what makes it harder or easier. Right?
Yep.
So a lot of people don't self-reflect and look at the things that they've done, and so they can see why they where they at. Right? They just want to blame everybody. And again, man, I'm a kid from the Bronx. So I grew up in welfare, food stamps, and all that. If you ain't know that, we talking about color money. There was no EBT cards. We had to go
Yeah,
to
when it was actually in the little booklet that you
the
tore it
book.
off.
Right? I grew up
Yeah,
like that, one bedroom apartment, and now I'm here. You know, driving foreigns, owning a house, trying to join. And it's not me stunting, right? That's just
that's the mindset though. It's
my.
reflective of the mindset.
I could have stood in the Bronx. I could have stood in the same cycle. My parents broke out that cycle and did it. My father showed me he owned his own business. So I was like, okay, if he could do it with minimal education, and I'm over here, I went to private school, man. You know what I'm saying? I went to private college too. So here I am with this education and this ability. I'm gonna go drop the ball, and then all you got to do is work hard and stay consistent, right? Consistency. When all else fails, stay consistent,
Mm.
right? As long as you're consistent, you're gonna win the race, right? You could shoot your load and be a superstar in the beginning. That's cool. That's dope if you could do that, right? But if you stay consistent and you good at something, eventually you're gonna become great at it. And that consistency, you're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna fall off if you stay consistent. If you
Yeah,
go to the gym,
I agree. Like the consistency part of it is laying a foundation. Like I always look at it like that. You just be consistent at even for me, like my consistency is that I'm not gonna stay stuck in a situation. When I get into a situation, if I'm like, that's one thing you could. I'm consistently gonna get in and out. Like I'm gonna be in this situation where I feel like this ain't for me no more. I'm out. That's the consistency for me. And for me, it's like I'm gonna keep going and keep trying and keep doing new things until something hits, or it's like I'm inspired to stay. Like if not, I'm gonna just keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like keep pushing and keep grinding, keep switching it up, keep you know what I'm saying, doing something new. So I definitely that resonates with me big time because I'm one of those I believe in that big time. Like and it's not even something that I have to necessarily um preach in a sense, but it's like yo, that's in me to be just I this isn't it. I'm out. That's consistent for me.
And I believe in everybody, right? Everybody has a talent. Everybody could get there. So when I see somebody doing something, I'm always willing to push and encourage because I've been on the other side and I know what that means and how that feels. Because we all look for that. We all look for that from the people we love and our friends, and sometimes we don't get it, right? You can't expect it from them. Those are the last people I was going to give you
Facts.
kudos and give you, like you said, them flowers. Don't expect.
Yeah, and they expect they still see you the way that they saw you when you were a knucklehead or doing you know what I'm saying like
They
so
just.
they don't really see it all the time.
I think it always comes down to like why you, right? We grew up in the same area. We went to the same schools. We do the same things. We have the same people. But how come it wasn't me?
Mm,
And I tell people it's because you don't work as hard,
right.
right? I could guarantee you that there's a lot of people that haven't worked as hard as I have. And another word I like to use instead of working hard is sacrifice. When you want to be great and get somewhere, you got to be able to sacrifice something. You got to have to be willing to sacrifice it. And if you're not willing to sacrifice it, you're not going to get there. And some people are just not willing to sacrifice, their time or going out with somebody or even their family. You
Right.
may sacrifice your family to be able to go give them that better life. And a lot of people are just not willing to do that. And that's okay, right? That's why, you got millionaires and you got thousandaires, man. Right? Not everybody's gonna be able to do it. So, you
Yeah,
know,
that's a good point too. That kind of to put out there that you have the vision, right? Like you have the mindset, you have these things, you have the gifts. Not your whole family don't have to have it. You're like you are the one that needs to be able to roll the dice and put the the ball in the game and be like, all right, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make these sacrifices for not just me but for my family, whether they see the big picture or not. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel like that's something for me that I've kind of had to do over the years too. Like they don't see what I see and like they don't see the opportunity where I see it, and that's okay. Like I had to get to a point where I'm like, that's okay. Like now I just got to go prove it. And it's not to prove them wrong, but it's to prove to them that when I said I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it.
it's perspective, man. Again, as I get older, and now we talking some grown man stuff. As I get older, I've learned that not everybody's perspective is the same, right? And that's just to say you can have a conversation with somebody and they say something to you a certain type of way, and you're gonna take it like that when they didn't mean it, right? And then
Mm,
you're feeling some type of way towards that person, and that person has no idea because they didn't mean it the way you took it, and
right,
that that person could do right unless you tell them, and they nah, that's not how I meant it, and that's all perspective. You just saw it a different way, so
right,
people are never gonna see things your way, and that's when that was hard for me to understand because again, having a brand, which was with my friends and my little brother, that was hard. I know it was hard for them to see me as a boss and have to talk to them that way. Not to mean that I was being demeaning and anything like that to them. It's just the fact that those are my peoples. That's my little brother. They're like,
right,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Is the perspective, my perspective of what I thought what we were doing was different compared to their perspective. And
right,
you know, you realize that, and sometimes you can't change their perspective, so you just got to step away, and
right.
keep, keep moving in the direction that you're moving to make sure that that relationship stays, intact or stays, good. That's if you want to keep that type of.
I'm actually a firm believer in that it takes a team to like to go far. Like there's that the thing they call
100.
it. It's a African proverb that if you wanna get it done fast, go alone. If you wanna go far, go together. And I'm big on that. But I also know that the team that you start with isn't always the same team that you're gonna finish with. Like that's something big for me that I had to in starting multiple businesses throughout the years. I've started with one group of people or like one or two people, and it's like, oh, we about to do all these things, and then you really get into the mud, and it's like, yo, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. And they're like, yo, I can't do that. Like, I got this going on and I got that. And I'm like, damn, so we're going to switch it up. We're going to do this. And it's like, but I can't really do that right now. It's like, yo, what we do all of this work for to get to this point, and now it's all like, can't really do all that. Like, that person or that group of people that you're with right now, and this is not to you, but to like everybody listening or whatever, or going to listen to this in the future, is like the people that you with right now might not be the people you finish with, and that's okay. Like you have to be okay to be able to switch it up and all of that. And that's a hard and big pill to swallow sometimes. Like, yo, we did all of this, we put in this work, and now you ain't ready to take it to the finish line. Like you gotta be able to be comfortable with saying that and know that that team is just not the team that's supposed to get you there. Like that's okay. Like you got to be cool with that. So
Not everybody.
I don't know if you had a lot of experience with that type of like thing, but for me, it's happened to me multiple times.
Of course, it's jaded friendships. Is again, my perspective on certain things was changed because of it, right? So you know, it's like a book, man. Like you said, not everybody in chapter one will be make it to chapter 10. That's just what it is. And unfortunately, this is gonna sound crazy right now, but it's 100% true. In life, everybody's being used, right? And that's just what it is. People using you for what you do for them, right? Now, I say use, not abuse, because those are two different things. People
Right.
use you,
That's
and
big.
they taking advantage of you, but then people could use you because you could use them, right? You doing this, I'm doing that. You using me for this, I'm using you for that. There's nothing wrong with it, right? So you got to be okay with again, leaving someone behind and figuring it out, because not everybody is along for the ride. Not everybody's going to be at the end of the book. And keep in mind, everybody out there, nobody owes you nothing. That's just what it is. Everybody is selfish. That's just human nature, self preservation. That's how we're wired, right? So they're going to protect themselves, their family, and make the right decisions for them. It's rare that you're going to find somebody that's going to do something that's going to benefit everybody. So,
There,
you know,
there was a point though for me at least. I don't know if you kind of, and I feel like this is kind of what you're alluding to, is like for me there was a point where I kind of started to see things and I was like, you know what, from now on, if I can't benefit as well, and vice versa, like if I can't, like I was like that, right? Like self-preservation would mean that if I meet somebody, they could do something for me, we got a relationship, because at the end of the day I'm gonna use them. I'm not gonna abuse them, but at the end of the day I'm gonna use them for what they could do for me as well. But then it got to a point where once I started to realize the opposite of that was somebody using me, that I started to realize, like, well, if I make some adjustments from now on, these relationships that I'm going to be building, if I can't help them, then I don't want that kind of relationship, because there was a point where it's like those tables turn, or the animosity builds, and then it's kind of like you rely on that person for the thing that you thought you were going to use them for, and then it's like they're not there no more or whatever. So for me now, like I'm at a point and I'm at a stage where a lot of the relationships that I have, I kind of only go into a relationship now if it's going to be a symbiotic relationship. Like if I could do for you and you could do for me, like now we got something that we could work with. Otherwise, there's been times that a lot of people have come to me about certain things, certain ideas, or things that they think I could help them with, and I'm like, yo, I'll be honest with you, I love the idea. That's cool and all that, but I don't see how it actually benefits me. And I want to support you, so I'll support it, but I'm not gonna get involved with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I've gotten to that point where like and that's the thing too. Like I could support it from afar. Like I'll post it, I'll share it, I'll even maybe cop something. Like if you selling something, but at the end of the day, I'm not gonna get involved to that degree, because long term it doesn't align with my trajectory. Like where I'm going, that doesn't necessarily fit into the bubble that I'm creating. So That's something too that like a lot of people got to be mindful of. If you're actually at that point where people are coming to you and they love your ideas, they love your perspective or whatever it is, you got to be able to also step back and be like, yo, that's cool and I support it, but I can't get involved with that right now. Like some people just overstretch themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like they be involved in too many things that are not theirs, trying
Yeah,
to please everybody.
trying to get to this spot. That is something that you definitely have to be mindful about. That, like you said, this relationship or this, you know, business that you're gonna end up doing with this person, is it gonna benefit you and benefit them in the long run, or is it just one sided? Um, Picking your relationships now, I guess, even at this point when we're much older, is always a good thing. Right, that's just gonna better your life and better your experience when you're choosing your right relationships. It doesn't matter if it's friendship, if it's a wife, or if it's a business partner.
Mm,
Those are keys. You learn that with life, though, man. Life experiences is what teaches you those things, and you realize, when you get to step outside the box. A lot of people don't get to experience that because they're not trying to do nothing. You only experiencing that when you try to do more than average, and you realize that you do need a team. You do need some people behind you. You can't do everything by yourself. It's impossible. I don't care
facts.
if you think you can, you just can't, right? I'm good at certain things, but I also know things that I'm not good at. So
Oh, that's like part of the definition of a good leader too. Knowing
yeah,
what you're good at and knowing what you're
know
not
that.
good at.
That's why I build a team. That's when I started my brand from the beginning, I reached out to the people. The problem with that is I believed in them, they didn't believe in themselves.
Facts.
That's what happened, and I was never, my strong point is never to be the front man of anything. I always want to be the guy behind the scenes. I'm not too easy on people, right? You either hate me or you love me. There's no in between when you're dealing with me. So I know that about me and my personality. I'm extremely aggressive, and I could come off a bit harsh or cocky, or whatever you want to call it. It's just the chip I got on my shoulder for a reason, but I understand that about myself. So that's why I always want to. If you know me, I'm always pushing the brand, but it's always someone else, and I'm the
Yeah.
guy behind it. The face is always somebody else. Like this is, even though this is Lafayette and Noble, the block I'm from in the Bronx, but this is my son's brand. It's not mine. All that is something that he's building. Um, I'm just there to help and be able to steer him in the right direction. Because again, I got the knowledge. Knowledge is key. Knowledge is king.
Hmm.
If all else fails, get educated.
Amen. And and I think like you just said, like this is something that you notice over time, and like the things that we're talking about are kind of like from the trials and tribulations and the wins and the fails. Like all of that stuff comes with experience, which is why I'm very big on like telling people like, yo, if you don't know what you want, keep trying, like keep doing mad shit, like do like 10 different things and see which one feels good. Like keep, and honestly, the main reason why I feel like I've gotten to the point that I'm at in more than anything, just understanding life and people is because I continue to do other things. When I feel like something's not working, it's not cool. Like I'm not inspired anymore. It's funny because like I started to like when I go shopping, I always anytime you go into a store, somebody will be like, "Yo, you need help with anything?" Or you looking for anything in particular today? Like that's like the new thing. Like people don't ask if you need help because that's an easy no, right? Or are you looking for anything in particular today? So my new thing, like when I go shopping, I always say, like what I'm looking for is inspiration. Like
Mm,
I'll be in the store and I'm like, "Oh, you looking for anything in particular?" I'm like, "Inspiration." Like that's always my answer, inspiration. Like whatever store I'm in, if they ask, inspiration. And it's funny because honestly, like because you and I agree about fashion and that being a form of expression, I really be in there just looking for inspiration. Like I don't really need shit. Like I got so much clothes and shit that I in my closet, like sneakers and all this other shit. Like I don't need nothing. But if I'm in a store, I'm looking for some type of something to inspire me to put together a fit, something to inspire me to have to go somewhere. Like I got this fit now, I gotta go somewhere. I gotta show this shit off. Like so for me, I'll be in the store really on some like,
me too.
and it could be anything. It could be
And
like fucking
I'm
something
just
for the house. I'll be in TJ Maxx or like fucking Home Goods. Like, I'm just looking for inspiration, looking for something to get me excited. You know what I mean?
Nah, I feel you. And again, that everything we talk about, man, it circles back on, believe it or not, fashion, man. You know, putting on a piece of clothing, making you feel some type of way will change your life. It'll change your day, it'll change your perspective. It'll change how you approach your job. It'll change how you approach your relationship. It'll change how you approach your day. And that's something I'm trying to get through people's heads. It's been more now than ever because a lot of people are starting to get fashion become more fashionable,
Right.
right? Everybody is about their fashion somewhat more now than ever before, right? There weren't that many people getting fly. Again, there weren't that many people creating clothing brands. There weren't that many people stepping out the box, right? That was something that I would say there's too many weirdos out here, meaning everybody's dressing weird. Everybody's putting something crazy on. No one can.
And you know what's
You
funny? You see
got,
that a lot too with the
got to
NBA
stand.
shit, right?
So that's crazy. You got to stand out to fit in nowadays.
Facts.
It's the truth, right? It's acceptable to have purple hair. It's acceptable to wear something crazy. You know, I say I wear women's clothes, but you'll have a dude put a dress on and keep it moving. And it's just taking fashion to the extreme right now. When that's there weren't only but a group of people that were allowed to do that and get away with it because it looked good on them. Now it's just become, again, it's been trendy. Fashion has become trendy for people. I want people to get back to getting dressed to make yourself feel good instead of just following the trend.
So actually, it's funny that you're saying that. Like, was I've been this been like a motif for me, like something that's been coming up a lot that I've kind of been like sort of preaching when I come on lives and shit is that being intentional with whatever you do, like what is the intention behind it? And I kind of feel like what you're saying now is like even with fashion and for me personally it is very intentional what I put on, how I put it on, and like what I put together. If I'm going to an interview or something like that, which is something I recently did, like the outfit that I chose, I had actually did a little research. Like I've Googled the person that I was meeting with. Like I looked at their Facebook page, I looked at their Instagram, and I kind of even put together my outfit based on something that I feel like this person might kind of be inspired by. Like if they see this, like, is this something that they're gonna be like interested in? Like, why did they pick that? Like that like to trigger a thought. You know what I mean? Like so being intentional, even with your clothes, like putting some effort into like what is the statement that you're trying to make today? Like, are you trying to make the statement that you're relaxed and I'm not doing too much? Like, am I like? And matter of fact, I'm gonna use a quick example of something that recently has been standing out to me. Like, for instance, like right now you have on your outfit, right? You're set up, you're good, like whatever, but you have all of your chains tucked in,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is something that stood out to me recently. Like that's intentional to me. Like the intention, and I don't know if I'm poking it sort of, but I think like that is a new level of flexing. Like there's and maybe somebody else wouldn't see it like this, but I see it now. Like I got I got my I don't even got to put my shit out. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of the flex now. Like I got you could see what I got on. Like you could see it right here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a different intentional flex that like I don't gotta put it all out.
It puts the outfit together too, though. You see how it makes the outfit,
No,
right?
but and that's what I'm saying. Like obviously, like accessory wise, like there's a level of accessory, right? But then the intention behind why not out and why in, there's an intention behind that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like those are the things that like I notice and I see in people when they do certain things or they or even
Everybody
don't do.
is the logo, the
Yeah,
Charlie.
that's fine. I've always liked that piece. But like you know, even though the intention behind certain things that like I said, people do or don't do sometimes it tells a lot about somebody's personality, and even you know what they're willing, like you said before, like what they're willing to sacrifice to get this message out, like what the message or what they're trying to portray out. So I'm actually we've never had like in-depth conversation. A lot of what the conversations that we've had have been, you know, kind of like on the fly, we're chilling, we just kicking back and things like that. So I'm really glad we were able to do this. So typically what I would do is at the end of the interview, I'll typically because when I do an interview, first of all, I make it all about the guest and I only interact with the guests. We have a few people in the box still, like I mean in the comments and in the watching the live right now. So what I like to do is give maybe a few minutes and we just kind of focus on the comments and anybody who's in here who wants to ask a question, maybe share anything or ask. This is the time that I kind of open it up to the comments, and also like I'll also leave this space for a while. We're kind of waiting to see if anything pops up. If there's anything that you want to plug that's coming up, like is there anything that you got? I know you already mentioned the documentary, but if there's anything else or somewhere that people should follow you or stay tuned type of thing.
I mean, my Instagram. I mean, I'm not really on this platform. I'm on this platform, TikTok, but most of my content is on Instagram, which is Mister Dot R Dot Ortiz.
Which is the same name here on TikTok too, right? It's the same name.
The same name on TikTok. Um, just a documentary which will drop on 5/6, May 6th.
Okay.
Tomorrow, we're dropping a teaser trailer to the documentary. So we're dropping it in the middle of the day. So that's coming. Stay
That's
tuned.
gonna be dropped on Instagram.
Instagram. Yep.
Okay.
I see if I start putting it on here on TikTok too. I just don't jump on this platform. Of course, the brand, right? Anybody needs some, wants some custom, it's available now. But we will have some merch up soon. Uh, Charlie O clothing. I do have some pieces left that I've been holding on for a while, but I think it's time to put them out. So stay tuned. Website coming up. Relaunching that just to get rid of some of the vintage Charlie O stuff that I have. I still have the classic Isle of Mayan tees, a few ice cream. I got some stuff that I think now is a good time to start hitting the people with it again, bringing that
Yo,
brand.
when you about to do a relaunch, let me know so we could do a sponsored episode, and you know what I'm saying. I come on here with a little Charlie O and
I,
do a little plug or something. You know what I mean?
I, that's easy. Yeah, that's easy. But yeah, that's about it, man. Just stay tuned. We're constantly working. Again, I'm pushing my son, promoting my son, my partner. So just stay tuned, man. We're constantly working and doing some things. Fashion Port will be coming back to you guys soon. So
I'm
just,
looking forward to that. Seeing the legacy kind of live on through your son. That's dope, man.
he's getting fly, man. This kid, again, he's about to be 16. He's taller than me. Wears the same size shoes I wear. So I let him rock everything. There may be one or two pieces that I don't let him touch, but where I let him rock my stuff to school and all that. So he's definitely getting fly, and he got his watch collection up because I'm a big watch guy. It's funny you said that story about your father. My first gold watch was given to me in my graduation. That was my dad's gold watch too. So that's another reason why I definitely collect. I got a nice little collection of watches myself too. So my son is on it now too. So that's what it is. But
So Awakening Faith is asking the five staple pieces, which I'm gonna see if I remember all of them. It was the jacket, the black leather biker jacket. It was a watch. It was a scarf. It was a bag. We did mention a bag,
some shit,
and
nice pair of shades.
nice pair of shades, little stunner frames. Those are
Spend
the five must haves in your collection.
spend
And I
some.
say that's men's and women's, but that's
I was
that's
and listen. I do style women too, right? My fashion doesn't just sit with men. I actually have more fun styling women than I do men.
That's a fact. Actually, I do that as well. Like I love like when I throw up an outfit together, which is actually a new thing that I've been thinking about doing. I did recently a video for my daughter, kind of like a get dressed with me video for my daughter. And I've also talked on here before about how me and my girl, when we go out, we always match, and there's always like some type of collab. Like it kind of goes together. It's a whole vibe. Like when we step out, and I've actually been thinking about doing like couples outfits and like doing like content like that too. So I think that's gonna be coming soon for me. Definitely something that I'm gonna put together as well.
That's something that you should always do when you're going to a wedding, right?
Oh
Or
yeah, big.
dinner that you're getting dressed up.
Anywhere there's gonna be photos taken, I feel like if you don't, those pictures gonna look bad.
Always, compliment. your date, because it just, again, it's a vibe, man. You want to make sure that you send the vibe right.
I told my comment was like, if you ever see me and my shorty out and we're not matching, there's a chance that we argued before we left the house. I was like, yeah, if we ain't matching, we just left the house on some like we out. Like there's a good chance we argued before that because we always like every time we step out, and that's something for me that like again, if I'm stepping out, we gonna look the part together. Like you an extension of me. So if I'm looking fly, you looking fly. If you in a sweatsuit, we in a sweatsuit. You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna our vibe is gonna match, and I think that's like that again to me that shows a lot about our relationship too. Like there's like a synchronicity to that. So
Again, man, you should always, that person next to you is an accessory, man. So you always,
yeah,
you got
I want to be an accessory for her and vice versa. Like I want us to step out together and be stepping out looking fly. Actually, she said, Awakening Faith said, your beards are on point. Loving the men's makeup vibe. So it's like a man's beard is like a woman's makeup. So yeah, I totally agree. There's a lot beards are thing, but are a thing I should say in men's fashion even. But it got to be kept and it got to be done right. So I'm very big on
grooming. There's an
the
episode.
grooming.
Fashion. You jump on Fashion Port. Those that haven't gone, go take a look. We got a few episodes. We did 2 seasons. I speak a lot about things like that, making sure you groom yourself, make sure your nails is cut, make sure you smelling good, make sure you groom yourself everywhere, gentlemen, right? Make sure
Yep.
you face wash and all these good things that again men don't talk about, and men don't do or shop for themselves, right? A lot of men don't do those things.
Yo, man, it's very hard for anybody else to shop for me, man. I'm so picky. It's very rare that I get a clothes that I don't return. Like my girl's getting better at it. Um, in
Just
time, I think she's getting better at
pocket. That's why I've learned. Like, you know what? I'm gonna put it over here, but I'm gonna wear it, on the off day.
it. Now you know what? Like now I feel like now that she knows my style better, and like we've been shopping together more often and all of that. Like now we got some years in. Like it's getting to that point that okay, like he would probably put it together like this, and like it's gotten like now I could trust that when she brings something home, like I pick something out for you. I'm like, at first it was like, you sure? Which I mean, I don't want to make her feel bad, but now it's like, I'm like, oh, all right, like yeah, I could wear that. I like that. She said, nah. She's here. She made it out. She said, nah, I do good. Nah, she does. She's got a lot better from the beginning. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm never wearing that. I'm just gonna tell you right now. We should probably return that.
You gotta learn. You gotta understand.
So
It's not easy.
yeah, no, yeah, she got a little fashion sense too. Not a little. She's when it comes to like styling herself, I think she just hasn't had that enough time to style me, but she's getting there. I like styling her though. I like shopping for her. Like if I go out and I see something, I like, oh, I know she could wear it with this and
Women have so many, options than men do. Right? There's so many things that they could do. So I always I always have fun. I like to dress my daughter, especially the new style that these little girls have now with the Aaliyah style. I call it the baggy.
oh
Yeah,
yeah. My niece is that's her style. And my see I now I have a daughter, you know what I'm saying? So now I feel like I be excited to like put something together for her. Like, all right, like at first my girl's like, "Yo, what did you put together? What is this?" And I'm like, "All right, you know what? I'm gonna start dressing her the way I dress myself. Like, then you can't complain. Like I thought I was just dressing a baby. You feel me? Like I just put something together. Like now I'm looking at her clothes. Like, hold up, would I wear this shit? Like I wouldn't wear this shit. I'm not putting this on her.
don't. If you want to put it on, don't put it on your kids, man. Make sure.
For real. Like I'm not doing this. Like we ain't even gonna do that. Like nah. Uh, all right, so I think I missed one. Hold up. What did she say? I'm sure she has a vision in her head when she shops for you. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure she does have and that's the challenge though. Like, and even when we're talking about fashion in general, like getting our what we imagine this thing is gonna look like to actually look like that in real life. Like I've gotten things home and I'm like, oh, this is gonna look fire with that thing that I got, and then I get it home, I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. Like,
That all the time. That's why I always say, try your stuff on, man. You gotta try it on. It could look good on the floor. It could look good in your head, but you gotta try it on. It usually hits when it looks good in your head, but You got to try it
Yeah,
on, man.
you gotta put it
Like,
together.
this is not it.
Yeah, it didn't go the way I planned it to go. This
But
might have to be a different fit.
then you throw that fit on one day. We call those throwaways. You put it on, and then people love it. That's a throwaway. Nothing goes to waste, baby.
That's right. Yo, so I just the way I typically end this thing is time is the most important thing in life, and it's like the one commodity that we never get back. So I want to thank you for your time again. I've always looked at you since I met you as a big bro. I look at you as an inspiration in many aspects of your life when it comes to like your professionalism, your style, you as a parent, as a husband, all of those things. I look at you, as somebody that I could look up to in those things as a role model for sure, from man to man. I'm glad we were able to do this, and for me to be able to say the things that have always been on my mind and tell you as a man, like that's how I feel. So I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you have a very busy schedule, so taking the time to rock with me, showing the support for the show, and doing it the way you did it. I really appreciate you. So with that being said, I just want to I like to go out with some little music. You know what I'm saying? Turn it down a little bit, but thank you again, man. I really appreciate it, bro.
Thank you, man. We coming back. We gonna see this here again.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna get you back. Have you on with your son? We chop it up again after the documentary comes out. Talk about the documentary. Can we get the shop info up here? So check out the Instagram. It's at Mr. Mr. R. Ortiz. That's where all the content, all the stuff is gonna pretty much roll out from there. And then you could reach out to him. You could DM him directly about the Lafayette and Noble, that sweater, and any other custom or any other stuff that's coming out. You could
Styling.
check him there.
If you want some styling, you got a event, a party, a wedding. You want to go shopping. Hit me up. You do that too.
Yeah, so that's the plug right there, guys. Reach out, man. Shout out to everybody who rocked with us. Thank you, guys. This is episode 8. We got 2 more episodes left for season 1, man. We're wrapping it up. Then I'm gonna take a 4-week break and come back with season 2. So continue to rock out. If you did not turn on the notifications, please turn it on. We got 2 more episodes. This episode will be uploaded to my YouTube tomorrow. The link is in my bio to my YouTube page. I like to take a second to point out that my Cash App is in there. So if y'all want to show some support for the show, you can always do that. My Amazon wishlist is up there to show some support to the show as well. It takes a lot for us to come out here and take time away from our families and do this, but I still love it, and I appreciate everybody who rocks out every week and shows the support. Shout out to my subscribers. We're just growing this thing every week, so I really appreciate everybody who takes the time to enjoy the content. Share it all the likes and all the shares. I appreciate you guys, so thank you so much. With that being said, this is the end of episode 8, Tim's Tuesday. We'll be back next Tuesday. Stay tuned for more. Yo, Mr. R. Ortiz. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much, man.
Pleasure. Thank you.